On the surface, a video game is just a bunch of pixels doing what they're told by a bunch of rules as a function of you pressing a bunch of buttons. Go beneath the surface though, and among those rules you'll find some additional secret rules that have been snuck in there, devised to make your experience more fun and to be invisible to the untrained eye. Recently, game designer Jennifer Sherrill asked other games people on Twitter to share the crafty mechanics like these hidden inside video games, and those devs went and spilled the tea. So consider these sneaky ways games try and trick you into thinking you're more awesome than you already are, because you're pretty awesome.
There were probably loads of times in Assassin's Creed where you felt like you just barely made it through a battle alive, even if you don't play the way that we do. I let them wear themselves out stabbing me and then I murder them. What? Remember all those times you were down to your last wedge of health? Remember when there were animus glitches going off all over the place and the looming prospect of a catastrophic rift in the space-time continuum? But then, somehow you managed to pull it back when you turned the tide of battle with basically 0 health and vanquished your enemies, who moments ago must have been thinking they had this victory in the bag and wondering how they'd look in your sweet robes when they nicked them off your corpse. Well, we have some potentially devastating news for you. Turns out you might not be as brilliant at dramatic comebacks as you think. Assassin's Creed values the last shred of health in your health bar more highly than the rest, making it count for more than all the other shreds. That means that while it looks like you're at death's door, bravely fighting for your life, you're actually okay for another few good hits. It's like how when your car says it's empty, it's not really empty for like another 14 miles or so. You're probably fine. Oh, which reminds me, guys, do any of you still want that lift home?
No.
Whatever. That hidden mechanic in Assassin's Creed means that before we've started a fight in Assassin's Creed 4, we're still good to use our signature move, which is jumping off the mast and shattering both legs on the deck. It's the last thing they expect.
If you're unfamiliar with gravity, it's the force that prevents us all from floating off into space and that keeps dropping apples on our head. Ow, damn it, gravity. Gravity is also your #1 enemy in platform games on account of how it punishes tardy jumpers by having them plummet to their deaths. Or at least it does in games that don't have a feature nicknamed by game developers as Coyote time. In a platforming game, this is the term given to the tiny grace period after you accidentally run off a ledge in which you can still successfully jump, saving your butt from falling all the way down there into whatever horrors await you at the bottom of the screen. The term Coyote time is a reference to Wile E. Coyote from the Roadrunner cartoons, who had the ability to run off a cliff and hang in midair for a couple of seconds before falling to his horrific death on the rocks below. More blood on the claws of the Roadrunner, history's greatest monster. Still, it makes you feel like you hit jump at the exact last possible moment, so all those Coyote deaths weren't in vain. Ah, seriously, gravity!
And all the tasty Adam like a drink.
Stay away from her, or it is you who will be shot next.
The underwater city of Rapture was founded on the 3 main principles of objectivism. People can act in whatever way suits their interests, the government can't interfere, and items can only be purchased from vending machines with clowns on them.
Welcome to the Circus of Value!
When it comes to the first principle though, most people here in the dark, dank, lost city of Randis have interests that involve killing you with guns and grenades, which, while fine from a Rapturian objectivist standpoint, is really going to put a crimp in your day. As such, you spend a lot of time being attacked, sometimes with your attacker getting the drop on you and making like Han Solo by shooting first. That's where Bioshock slips in a little trick that turns this surprise attack moment from an annoying hassle into the start of a John Woo action sequence. To make sure you don't get ambushed, Bioshock does you a solid and makes sure your attacker's first volley sails past you and you feel like a lucky damn hero.
Uncivil,
and then you're whipping around to blast them with your own bolts and bullets. It's probably because those party masks they're all wearing make it hard to aim. And it's not like they can take them off with their hands covered in fire and bees. Man, it's like all these people living underwater with their hands covered in bees is a bad idea. Or something. Someone ought to tell this Andrew Ryan.
We killed him with a golf club.
Oh yeah.
Here's a little bit of gun trivia known only to us gun experts. Guns work by shooting small, hard, pointy thingies called bullies. Bullets. Inside a gun, the bullets are all the same, except for the final special bullet, which does twice as much damage as the bullets before it. Wait, well, that's not true. Oh man, that's what I get for learning everything I know about guns from the programming of System Shock. Anyway, in the game System Shock, if not in real life, the last bullet in a clip gets a little buff, making it more likely to topple your enemy and generate that exhilarating feeling of my perseverance paid off, but only bloody just. Which is a lovely feeling, until you realise it's fake and you suck, which in a way is kind of the whole message of System Shock, so that's consistent.
Imagine how much longer everything in your day would take if every time you tried to walk anywhere, you were being constantly ambushed by monsters. That's the usual state of affairs for people in RPGs, who can't walk more than about 50 feet before an angry monster jumps out from behind 5 blades of grass and tries to attack them. Good if you're trying to farm XP, not so good if you're trying to get anywhere, which is why PlayStation RPG Suikoden came up with an ingenious solution that most players never even noticed. When the game sees you're walking in a straight line across the map and just don't need the hassle today, video game, thanks, it spawns fewer enemies along your path because it can tell you're just trying to get somewhere and you're in no mood right now. You've got to go see a man about a dog, or a man about a mystical room, or whatever. If you wander aimlessly, the random encounters will start right back up, and bam! Suddenly you're being mugged by giant flying squirrels. But make a beeline for somewhere, and all of a sudden the monsters remember that they left their monster oven on and beat a hasty retreat. Sort of like how walking purposefully and staring straight ahead allows you to avoid people you don't want to talk to at work.
Hey, how was your weekend? Mine was good. Had a good time.
Well, well, well. To think you'd make it this far.
You know how when you pack for a trip, you always forget one item and it's usually your toothbrush, which is fine because, hello, that's why hotel reception desks have those bowls of mints, am I right? What? Never mind. On your trip to Silent Hill, you better hope it's only your toothbrush you forget, particularly when you go to face the final boss here. If, on the other hand, you forget to pack any ammo or enough ammo, you're more boned than a Downton Abbey corset. Or are you? You're not. You'll be fine. It's just like the toothbrush thing all over again. Don't worry about it. If you run out of ammo during the boss fight, Silent Hill notices your plight. The game doesn't want you, having fought and suffered all this way, to be stuck forever here running around with an empty gun, unable to finish the game. And it doesn't want you to die like an idiot who forgot to pack sufficient munitions to destroy a Nightmare Hellion. Here's when Silent Hill says, "This one's on the house." Finger guns. Having noticed how you've got nothing left to throw at the boss except your shoes, it silently kills off said boss in your name and silently lets you take the credit and proceed to the end of the game. Yes, all my own work. I'll just take my happy ending and cash prize and be on my way.
Cheryl? Can't be. Can't leave like this. This can't be happening. Cheryl?
Or just the cash prize? Yeah? Silent Hill?
Harry. Go.
There you have it, people. Those were 6 ways that games sneakily trick you into thinking you're more awesome than you already are, which is pretty awesome because you're watching one of our videos. If you'd like to watch more, we can supply those Up here, most of them, Outside Xbox, lots of quality videos there for your video needs. And down here, Outside Extra has also made a bunch of videos for you to enjoy. Please do